Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Max. Today I'll be doing a story time video, my first story time. I'll be talking about the time that my family, particularly my sisters, were convinced that I was having a stroke. Before we get into the story, if you haven't already, please click on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you're alerted every time I upload a new video, and please give me a big thumbs up. Please give me a like. So this takes place about 10 years or so, around 10 years, maybe a bit less. And where to start? So I'll start, I guess, when my family, particularly my sisters, they thought I was having a stroke. So at that time, one of my sisters, so I have four sisters, big family. So one of my sisters, she also lived in the same apartment as me, and we were having a small gathering. My oldest sister, she was visiting her. So we're having a gathering, and they're like, something is wrong with you. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I feel fine. I'm talking. I started to notice that I was slurring my words. And my oldest sister is like, Maxine, I think you're having a stroke. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I feel fine. Like, I would know if I was having a stroke. I was, I guess, maybe mid-20s then. So I'm like, nah, I'm fine. I'm not the healthiest person, but I would know if I was having a stroke. So we went on, and I continued slurring. One eye, my right eye was just runny. I thought, okay, I'm not sure what it is, but it's not a stroke. So she's telling me, like, you're having a stroke, it runs in your family, you should, go to the hospital, get yourself checked out. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I am good. I don't know what this is, but it's not a stroke. I'll check on it later tomorrow or something. And so, she's kind of telling me, like, check it out. And I'm like, no, I'm good. So I went to bed that night, and that was a hard night. It was hard to sleep because then, although I'm stubborn, and I probably should have listened to them. I was stubborn, but then when I'm laying at bed at night, my mind started to wander, and I'm like, what if I'm really having a stroke? Like, something isn't right. Like, maybe I should go to the hospital. But I'm stubborn, so I try to go back to sleep. But didn't really get much sleep because something wasn't right. Like, my eyes was running like crazy. I wasn't in any pain. I didn't have any shortness of breath, and there was no symptoms. I just was slurring my words, and it wasn't actually until the morning. So in the morning, I got up, and the things that we take for granted, simple things like blinking, smiling, you take those things for granted. So I went into the washroom, and at that time my face was okay. It was my one eye was still running, but I'm trying to just blink, close my eyes, and I was having some difficulty. I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is like the first time I've experienced this. I didn't know what this is like. Why can't I close my eyes? And I can't remember. I think it was just this one eye. Like, just as I'm blinking now, I couldn't do that. Like, I had to concentrate hard and force it to close. So that actually took me back. I'm like, no, like, something is wrong. And I'm still slurring. And especially like P or B, I couldn't say it. I think B came out as P. My mouth was just like, I guess the muscles was a bit weak in my face. I don't recall if I had any droopiness at that time. So I called, I think, the telehealth number, and I spoke to a nurse, and I told her my symptoms, my medical history, what should she do? So she said, just to be sure, maybe you should just, go to the hospital, call 911. So my first ever time, I called 911, and they came, did a quick checkup, everything's like there was nothing alarm, but they took me to the hospital. So I rode in the ambulance for the first time, and luckily the only time in my life. So the first time, so I went to my hospital. I think that was Toronto East General at that time, and I went and so I phoned my sister and one of my sister that was living in the building, and actually she surprised me. It was great, pleasant surprise. You know, she because other people, they were worried about me, but I was surprised that she came in. She sat with me and we waited until I saw a doctor. And so I saw a doctor, and they say like, no, it's similar to a stroke, but you're not having a stroke. So I just have here, just want to do the definition of a stroke versus what I went through. One second here. Sorry, I don't use this phone. It's like an old phone, so I don't really use it. I forgot how to use it. Okay, so sign of stroke would be sudden numbness or weakness in the face, arm, or leg, especially on one side of the body. So I had weakness on one side of my face, sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or difficulty understanding speech. So I did have some trouble speaking. As I mentioned, some words I couldn't really say. Sudden trouble seeing in one or both eyes. I didn't have that. The only thing with my eye was just running like crazy, just watering. And sudden trouble walking, dizziness, loss of balance, or lack of coordination, and sudden severe headache with no known cause. So those last two, I didn't have that. Apart from my face, just like the looseness of the muscle, I didn't have any other issues. So at the hospital, where is it? So at the hospital, they told me that, yeah, so you're not having a stroke, you have Bell's palsy. And I couldn't say that. I would be like, palsy. I couldn't say that. So it's the first time ever I've ever heard of that. I think a lot of people have that. So the symptom of this is drooling, difficulty eating and drinking, and inability to make facial expressions such as smiling or frowning. And I try to find a picture, and I don't even think I want to see a picture of my smile. Back then, it's like just like the Joker, like, well, kind of like just a crooked smile, facial weakness, muscle twitching and twitchings in the eyes, dry eyes and mouth, and headache, sensitivity to the sound. So after I got my diagnosis, they gave me, I believe, 2 medications. So this antiviral medication and some, what is it called? Steroids. So I got those, picked them up, and I went home. So back to the beginning, to the start of this. They say that, like, it could be a virus. They don't know how people get it. I know the exact moment I had that. Just that weekend, you know, I was visiting my older sister. I was in Oshawa, and I think I was doing some shopping at the Oshawa Center at Shoppers Drug Mart. So I was outside in a parking lot, and I remember the exact second I just felt this gush of wind whoosh, in my face, and just from then it just this strong wind that just kind of took me back, and just instantly just my eyes just started watering, and from then, like that, I know, just because that's when the first symptom came on. It was just like that. I don't know, for some people maybe a bit longer, but just for me it was just like that. My eyes just uncontrollably just watering, runny. And so back to me getting home from the hospital. I was kind of relieved, you know. I wasn't having a stroke, which is a lot more serious than this, but I was kind of worried because I didn't know what this is, and things that made me realize, like, simple things you take for granted, like just your body movement. licking my lips, I couldn't do that. I had difficulties just licking my lips. If I was eating, you have something on, I couldn't. It was not pretty, it wasn't pretty eating. Smiling, like for the longest time, I couldn't really, or didn't want to smile because it's just crooked, and just the droopiness in my face. The thing, so at the onset of it, I didn't experience any pain. But after I don't know if it's a medication. I took them for about a week, and not sure why though, but this is the worst headache I've ever had in my life. It would feel, and it would be at night when I'm trying to sleep. I would be laying down, and it felt like, someone just bashed me in my head. It was intense. It was like the worst headache ever in my life that I've had. And but it was kind of only at night, and I think that lasts maybe a few weeks. It lasted for, then that went away. So physically, I wasn't in any pain. But for weeks, for months, I struggled with the runny eyes and with the difficulty pronouncing certain words, and difficulty with movement in my face, my mouth. Like I would try to like blow a kiss, make the kiss lips, and my lips was just crooked. My smile, kind of like the Joker, was just ugly, crooked. And so I remember living with my sister at that time, my sister Sylvia. And I would be talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, Maxine, your face is getting better." So I would get excited. I would run into the bathroom, and to check, I would smile. And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? No, it's not getting better. What are you talking about?" And I don't know what she was talking about. Like, it didn't get better. I think maybe like the runny eyes was like one of the first to go. And I got back some control where I could blink, just like normally, like without thinking. I could blink. The thing that lasts the longest would be just the control in my jaw area, in my lips, like smiling, eating, licking my lips. I couldn't really do that freely. I think within 3 months, like it took a long time. I don't know, like the medical of what happened to the muscles in my face, but it took like 3 months for me to start to see improvements. So as I mentioned, it's been like over 10 years, and it's not 100%. I don't think I would get 100%, but they say it's good that I took the steroids, because if you don't, then it could be a lot worse, and I could have like a big permanent crook. I find now though, like when I'm stressed or when I'm kind of run down, then it acts up a bit. Like I just feel that I don't know, like my eyes just feels weak, and my mouth, even now, like my mouth, my smile, it's not 100%. It's been years, so I guess I have to live with it, which it's not too bad. I think like my smile, I really don't necessarily like my smile as much, just because I think a lot of time it's crooked, and my lips isn't what they used to be, so I don't like that. But I think like maybe other people can't tell looking at me, but I can say that it may be 95% back to normal. So it's just slightly that it's not normal, and yeah, it does kind of affects your self-confidence, right? Like my eyes doesn't open as wide as it should. One eye doesn't open always. Like the other day, I was trying to put on some lashes, and it's just didn't look right because as I say, during like stressful time or if I'm run down, then it's more noticeable. And my eye now, it doesn't really watery, but it feels dry often. So I use a lot of eye drops to treat that. But I have dry eyes. It kind of feels like my vision is okay, and I actually just went to my doctor, so my vision is perfect. Well, not perfect, but perfect with my glasses. It doesn't affect my vision, but this one eye, sometimes it just feels cloudy. Like it's hard to describe. So it feels a bit cloudy. My lips, once in a while, as I say, I think I'm trying to pinpoint, and I think it's like just when I'm under a lot of stress, then it feels like even licking my lips. It's a lot better now, but it's not 100% to lick my lips. Like a blowing, like the kiss, it's not 100%. But you know, it could be better. I don't know what caused it. Like the doctors, I don't know what or why or even how. Like I don't know. They didn't really give me much, and online there's not really much cause. They don't know. But to me, like that's how I got it. Just whatever, some bacteria, or I think they say it's kind of like caused by some viral infection. So something in the air just flew in my eye, and that's how I picked it up. So I'm telling this story just to kind of bring awareness into this. I think a lot of people don't know about Bell's palsy. And as I mentioned, like 10 years ago, I didn't know what that is. I think I've seen a few people with that, but I didn't know what it was. So this is just to bring awareness to it. And yeah, so this is my first story time. I don't know what kind of story it is. I guess it's just to bring awareness for information. I hope you enjoy it. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have had Bell's palsy or you know someone who's had it. And so I hope you found this video interesting. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.